It's an orange juice.
What's up, everyone? This is OJ. We're going to be getting a 20-win Crown Championship challenge, and today joining you is Woody, the Mortar Mauler. How are you doing today, Woody?
Doing great. Thanks very much for inviting me here, OJ. It's always a pleasure to be on your channel.
Thanks for coming on. I understand you're still doing streaming full-time, right?
That's right. I'm streaming over at Twitch full-time. You can check me out at Woody_CR.
Check it out. The Crown Championship challenge. As you can see, there's going to be all of these rewards up to 20 wins. First one is at 2 wins, 2,500 gold. 5 wins, you get a giant chest. At 9 wins, you get a magical chest. Then at 14 wins, you get a legendary chest. And at 20 wins, you get 250,000 gold.
Massive rewards, and in keeping with the last challenges that they've introduced, we've got one free entry and a lot of one-time rewards. They want to really give an incentive for players who haven't even checked it out yet to give it a shot. But once you already get that max reward, they kind of want you to back out and let other players have a chance to get the wins.
Yeah, it's really interesting. The first entry is free, but every entry after that will be 100 gems, so it's exactly like a grand challenge, literally. Because if you look at the prizes, the top prize is 22,000 gold. That's the exact same prize as a grand challenge at 12 wins. So banking off of that, you're exactly right. They don't want you to keep playing and playing because there's no point. Once you qualify, you qualify. And by qualify, I mean once you hit 20 wins, you will qualify to the CCGS Season 2, which leads into the CR World Finals in December for a chance at a $1 million prize pool. Of course, you have to be 16 years of age or older for that, but you will get something like a message in your inbox and a link to the guide to the next phase and all that stuff. And then after that, there's going to be tournaments to further narrow down the qualifiers. How do you feel about this whole challenge in-game instead of the previous season?
I love it, Yarn. We had these in-game 1,000 player tournaments, and they let the top 20 or whatever advance to the next level. But I think that playing at your own pace is something that's really valuable. Not feeling forced that you have to go for the whole hour to knock out as many wins as you possibly can. Not feeling like you have to try to game the system at the very last minute to be, jockeying for a position to get that top 20. You have as much time as you want, but you gotta get those wins. Everyone's gotta get the wins. You can't just lose a few games and then make a big comeback to get to the top of the ladder. You actually have to defend every single game. You've got to be pushing every single game. Every single game is going to be very important if you want to make it all the way up to 20. Because anyone who's made 12 wins in a row knows that that is hard. Yarn, how much more difficult is it going to go from trying to get 12 wins to going all the way up to 20 wins?
107 times more difficult.
Exactly 107 times.
You weren't expecting me to know the number, but I did. Okay, so speaking about the numbers, it's so difficult because at 20 wins, 3 strikes and you're out. Put that into perspective. At 12 wins, 0.65% of the player pool will reach 12 wins. That is 13 out of 200 players that will reach 12 wins. Now, for a 20-win challenge, the player pool that will win that is 0.006%. That is 107 times harder on average to reach. Percentages are whatever, but like I said, 12 wins, 13 out of 200 players will reach 12 wins. For 20 wins, 1 in 17,000 players will reach 20 wins. That's to give you some numbers right there. Isn't that crazy?
That is absolutely insane. So to contextualize that, if I'm sitting in a football stadium that's full of people, I feel like maybe 1 or 2 of us there are going to get a chance to go on to stage 2 of the Crown Championship.
That's exactly it, but let's use hockey since I live in Canada. That's
Okay,
one entire hockey stadium.
Hockey stadiums are a little bit smaller than football stadiums.
No, exactly. The average capacity is 20,000, so the hockey reference is perfect.
I love it! So we're going to have 1 in 17,000, but there's a 100 gem entry fee, right? So you can enter as many times as you want to. If I don't win on the first time, I don't need to sweat it. I can hop back in there and try to get another qualification. Isn't that right?
That's exactly. You can try as many times as you want from August 16th to August 20th. That's how long the challenge is going to last.
So when I proceed further, what does that mean? What are the prizes that I could get for actually being able to compete in the Crown Championship?
$1 million.
$1 million? Total
Yep.
prize money for the first year. That's awesome. I know we gave away about a third of that in the spring season, but the fall season is going to be even more important because the winners of the fall season for each region are going to get a chance to compete in the World Finals. Isn't that right, RJ?
CR World Finals in December. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be one of the biggest events ever, and it's going to be making history for Clash Royale. 14 wins, 0.2% of the player pool will reach 14 to unlock that legendary chest. So it's significantly harder than hitting 12 wins. 1 in 500 in the player pool will hit 14 wins.
Just to hit 14 wins, and then you got to go all the way to 20 to be able to qualify for the Crown Championship Phase 2. Now,
Yep.
for each Phase 2 championship, we saw a 1,024 player bracket. Do you expect those brackets to be a lot smaller because of this qualification process, or do you think a lot of people are going to be competing and that we'll still have the same people competing in Phase 2?
Well, even in the challenge itself, I'm kind of speculating once you hit 16, 17, 18, 19 wins, hitting the battle button inside the challenge, you might be queuing up for a long time. It could be a minute, could be 10 minutes, could be an hour. Who knows what it is right now. The pool is going to be so small. And when you're at 19 wins, it's the exact same matchmaking system with the elos and everything for a regular challenge. So you're 19, you're going to match with someone else who busted really hard to reach that point too. So it's not going to be easy.
I think some of the people who are going to be busting at the top are going to be fans of the OJ channel. An epic matchup that would be, though. I would love to stream a 1919 game for that qualifying spot in Stage 2.
So me and Woody would love to talk about the the decks that you can use in this, but Supercell did hint that there's going to be a balance update coming this week, whereas this challenge is coming out the week after that. So right now we can only speculate on what the decks will be and how the meta will shift into. How do you feel everyone's going to be? Obviously, everyone's been complaining about the Night Witch. Hopefully she's going to get nerfed. We'll see what Supercell has to say about that.
Yeah, I think that the best plan of action right now is to prepare the decks that you've been working with for many, many months that aren't just flavor of the month best deck right now because the Night Witch is really good or Graveyard is really good. If you love playing one certain type of deck, get ready to try to get 20 wins with it and go all the way, because this is not going to be an easy challenge.
Oh, it's going to be so hard. I'm loving Graveyard, so I'm going to be using something with Graveyard in there. And you love Mortar? Are you going to be going Mortar all the way?
Dude, I am going to be going Mortar all the way. But I got to tell you, Yarn, you may not have heard just yet. This is news in the Mortar Nation. I was playing with my friend Turtwig Data, and he showed me a Mortar deck that also uses Graveyard. So I feel like that might be the killer combination to take me all the way to 20 wins.
Mortar Graveyard, I could see that. There's really not much we can kind of give you tips on because there is not going to be the same established meta today as there will be next week. But I did notice that when I play these like sudden death challenges, triple elixir challenges, that by the third and final day, that the challenge becomes a little bit easier. Do you think that'll hold true for here, or do you think the 20 wins is so far out of reach that the pool won't be muddled that way from the end?
I think that the first day is going to be very difficult because none of the top pro players are going to be qualified. I think that the second and maybe third day will be a little bit easier as those top guys just kind of ace through it really quickly, get their one-time wins, and get out of the pool. But I feel like the fourth day might actually be just as hard as the first day as the desperation sets in, as kind of all the middle to upper middle tier guys who are jockeying for position and want to get that 20 win in are going to be grinding at it hard. I would really try for maybe late the second day or the third day to try to get in for the 20 wins.
Yeah, I don't disagree for day 2 and 3. Day 4, that's kind of hard to say, but it's absolutely true. The pros are going to be playing on the first day. They want to get in as fast as possible, and 100 gems is nothing to these pros. So they're going to be playing and playing and playing until they win. And once they win, there's no incentive to keep playing because a $250,000 gold is a one-time reward, and it feels like a classic challenge in terms of rewards almost, just because of how stretched out the chests are.
Yarn, there's also that sweet, sweet Twitter cred. You gotta get that retweet out there where you have shown that you got that 20 win run on the very first day.
I'll just Photoshop it. It's too hard. 0.006% of the player pool. 1 in 17,000. Not possible.
Not for you. Maybe for some better players out there.
Nobody will qualify if I can't qualify.
He's not gonna. There's gonna be no new OJ videos, guys. Sorry. Until Yarn qualifies. Orange juice every day, more like orange juice once a week after the qualification period is over.
It kind of is once a week. So that's about all I have to talk about for the 20 win grand challenge. Do you have any final input about that?
Yeah. Thanks once again so much for inviting me on your channel, Yarn. It's always a pleasure to be here. I think that players just ought to stick with what has worked for them. Don't be worried about the best decks in the metagame and what little tweaks and changes you should make here and there. Work with what you know works best. There's going to be a lot of players who qualify for Phase 2 just based upon the skill that they already have. and not having to try to work with, whatever new decks have become popular recently.
Yeah, the meta's... It's too early for the meta to form. I mean, we didn't see bridge spam until a month after the balance update, right?
That's true.
Yeah, so metas can take quite a while to form and to establish, so there might not be a best deck, on the first week, and that's the reality of things, but we'll see about that. It's always evolving.
Yarn, good luck. I hope you get those 20 wins. I'd love to see you there on the battlefield.
Yeah, and good luck to you too for that. I'm assuming you're going to go hard with your Mortar Graveyard deck.
Oh, absolutely.
Great, so that's about it. Stay tuned for more Quality OJ.